Hey there, everybody. It's still a little early. We've got about 5 minutes before we start. Today's topic is online learning tools. So, if you have some kind of tool that you use, something that helps you study, helps you learn online, please put that into the chat. You can also say hello or just put anything in there so we can help discuss. This is together learning, right? We want to learn from each other, not just from me. So, please add something, add comments, chat, and today's topic, which is online learning tools. We'll get started in roughly 5 minutes. Hello there, Together Learners. Welcome to Thursday Lunch Live, our weekly little chat mostly to support you, the learners, and so we can all learn together uh, during our various learning journeys, either at our universities or on togetherlearning.com. This week, the topic is support tools, learning support tools. What kind of things can we use to help us more efficiently get stuff in our brain or get stuff out of our brain to share with others, to create things for learning purposes? There's a whole wide range of stuff. I definitely won't be able to share with you all the things that I use or that I've learned to use as far as tools on the internet or tools as apps or websites, because there are literally thousands, tens of thousands of tools that I've probably used in my lifetime. It's what I enjoy. It's why I call myself a learning futurist, a learning technologist. These kinds of things are fun for me. It's a passion of mine, and I'm happy to share that passion with you. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my, what I think might be the most useful tools online for your learning, both for learning English as a second language. A lot of you viewers out there are Japanese learners of English. English is not your first language. There's a couple of tools I'm going to share with you. A lot of you are taking courses at togetherlearning.com or at the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies, where I teach classes where you need to create some media. So we're going to tell you about some media to help you create student portfolios better, because a lot of you are creating those student portfolios. I'm going to show you some things to help you create VR tours a little bit better. Record your narration for presentations. Maybe you don't want to show your face. A couple of tools like that. Hopefully, there's a couple other tools. I'm just going to keep chugging along at them as we go through. But I really hope that if you're out there and you're watching, that you're going to chime in with some tools that you have found very useful, because what I'm hoping to do is create a community. I want to have you share the tools that you found so we can share them together and all learn together. That's the whole concept of togetherlearning.com. We want to learn from each other. I from you from me, and everybody from each other. So if there is some online tool, some website, some app, or maybe some device that you use, maybe use it often, or maybe something unique way of using it, please share that during the chat today. So I'm going to put that one more time in the chat. So today, about today's topic. And then I'm going to share that topic one more time for everybody to see. And I'll get started with the first couple of tools to show you. Just one moment. All right, as usual, I'm going to be following along in the chat here. I just put some links in here. So if while you're watching, you want to kind of go off and watch an extra video about some of the tools that might be particularly of interest to you, or some website or course that I might mention, I'll put all the links in the chat down there. And that's where I'm hoping that you'll chime in with your own discussion as well. All right. Well, let me first mention that I'm going to have a ton of things that I'm going to be sharing with you. Oops. Just a moment here. Let's switch something up. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, let's see here. Yes, what I was going to mention there was that almost all the stuff that I'm going to mention today is either in two or three places. You're going to find it on togetherlearning.com, where you'll have access to all the courses that I might mention that I'm trying to support today with the tools that I'm going to be introducing to you. And I'm going to be actually showing you a preview of one of the courses that many of you are going to be taking or are taking. And of course, there's a ton of videos that I have, tutorials on many of the tools that I'm going to offer you today. So if you want to go off and learn a little bit more about one of these tools, you'll have that option to do so, just going through and looking at the YouTube channels that I've created. I got hundreds of videos on there about several topics, and I might be sharing them as we go along today. Okay. Well, how about let's start with one tool today, and let me guess. It's three letters. It starts with T, and it's one of my favorite things to learn. And I'm going to that website right now. It's going to pop up here in just a second. And it's called TED. It's at TED.com. TED stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. And there are tens of thousands of videos to watch by experts in creativity and performers, anything that you can think of. And these are short, between 5 and 15. Sometimes there's a few odd ones that are around 20 minutes, but most of them between 5 and 15 minutes. And you'll hear from the experts about some of the most important, some of the most educational stuff, the experts in the world talking about it, and they do it in a way that is simple, precise, and short, so you don't have to read into a lot of books, deep dig. So if you just want to scratch the surface, get interested, and learn a little bit about a wide variety of topics, TED is the place to go, right? It's the way to get into a lot of these topics. Let's say you never heard of, sustainable development or dark patterns, which I sometimes talk about in my digital literacy class. Those things are kind of strange, right? So you want to wrap your head. They're kind of complex ideas. Come to TED.com, do a search. They're all on YouTube as well, or most of them anyway. And I'm going to show you just how powerful it is, not only to learn any subject that you want to learn, but it's going to help you with your language learning, because TED.com, as you watch these videos, has an awesome way to go back to read, and it's translated into, some of these are translated into 60 different languages. Most of these are translated into English talks are translated into Japanese. Some Japanese talks are even translated into English. So you can read the transcript, you can hear what they're saying, you can see the translation word for word. I'm going to show you how that all works. Now, even on my own website, I'm going to do a quick search here. If you wanted to find out a little bit more about using TED.com to study, I have a video which I already created that's available, and let me put that into the chat actually right now, so you can take a look at this all on your own. That's the tutorial to go through maybe at a later date to show you all the cool things. Now, this is the TED homepage, and if you just have 20 minutes of your day, especially if you're trying to learn English in the morning, this is something to do in the morning, I think, to get input, some language input into you. Later in the day, I usually recommend to students to do some output before you go to bed, do some writing, make a video, do some talking, some speaking. Try to get some language production going on. But if you want to get some input going on, you can download these as podcasts. You can listen to them. You can watch them on YouTube. 20 minutes in the morning, think of a topic, or just come to this site and just start picking around. Let's say I want to find some videos on innovation or child development. Just choose a topic. Click on next, and then it'll have some other ones kind of like subcategories. I'll click the future. As a learning futurist, I'm interested in the future. And it wants me to sign in. Oh, that's a new thing for TED. That's too bad. But you'd have to sign in, and then it gives you a whole list of those TED videos. Right? I have a TEDx talk. I've given a TEDx talk. And if you're watching from Kyoto, we have something called Tedx Kyoto. And we have it at the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies, the university I teach at. And here's an event that we did. This is one of the events that we did in Morita Hall. I think this is a 2015, where I designed a augmented reality adventure for our guests. TEDx is an excellent thing. So if you, not only can you watch TED videos, learn from them, get in, but you can join the TED community in a whole bunch of different ways. We even have a Tedx KUFS at our university. And TED, in my experience, has connected me to people all over the world. I've gone to Canada twice now to participate in things like TED Active and TED Summit, and I've given talks there. It was really amazing. Tons of creative, supportive, Mai-muki, positive people in the TED community. So when I talk about TED, you can participate in levels. If you can watch some videos, learn a little bit about different topics around the world, improve your language, but you can also get involved and help the creation of these videos and learn some kind of skills and new friends that are interested in these topics at the same time, right? So Tedx Kyoto, this is a project that I did for Tedx Kyoto. Unfortunately, we haven't had one in a while. We got the pandemic, so events are not working as they should these days. But I'm going to put this in the chat as well if you want to learn a little bit more about Tedx Kyoto. There is also a Tedx KUFS. If you're a Kyoto University of Foreign Studies student, you can ask me or reach out to some of the upper class students, and they'll have a lot of information about a lot of these talks. And these talks, we're wanting to share Kyoto ideas to the world and bring ideas from the world into Kyoto. So we try really hard to have a very diverse number of speakers, performers, technologists, politicians, even sometimes, artists, singers, musicians, science, all that stuff wrapped in together. And half the talks are in Japanese, half of them are in English. We try hard to get a wide variety of age groups and maybe try our best to split up between men and women as well. There's a lot of good stuff happening with a lot of these videos. And so I encourage you to check that out as well as we go through here. Right? All right, so using TED.com. You can just watch videos, you can download them and listen to them. That's great, but there's a way to level up and actually use these even better to get more out of it. So what I'm going to do now is just go to one of my favorite talks. If you're a freshman, you know this talk. If you're a student in one of my past classes, you know this talk. It's by someone called Simon Sinek. I'm just going to search for his name. Here we go. How Great Leaders Inspire Action. One of my most favorite TED Talks. I've seen this maybe 50 times because I show it to you, my students, because there's so much to learn from it. We even have a project based on this concept at togetherlearning.com called the Why Me Project. And a lot of the students that I teach are actually going through this project to learn a little bit more about themselves and to help their leadership communication skills. So it's inspired by this TED Talk and the speaker. His name's Simon Sinek. And of course, it's got this video here. It works a lot like YouTube, right? You just find the videos you want to watch and click play and you can watch them, which I'll do that right now. Unfortunately, there's more ads on here for as well. I'm going to have a sip of coffee and try and skip past this.
How do you explain when things don't go?
All right, a couple of things here. The TED Talk has started, and you notice that there is some subtitles in English. That's great, isn't it? Well, you can actually change those subtitles to Japanese. You can turn them off. And these are professionally translated subtitles. It's not like YouTube where sometimes it's automatically done with the AI algorithm and it's sometimes funny and it doesn't make sense. This is translated by a professional, right? So that's the first thing you can do is you can turn on different languages. So if you're studying a different language, perhaps like Spanish or French, it's got those as well, all professionally translated. So, right, if you're going to watch this for the first time, I suggest kind of a way to do it. So if you really want, if you know this is a TED Talk you really want to get to know well and improve your language ability, watch it once without any subtitles. See if you can pick up on some words or some concepts or some ideas, and then maybe watch it again with the English subtitles on, and then see if those ideas still pop out at you if you heard it correctly. And then a third time, watch it with the Japanese subtitles to really dig in and see if you understood the concepts that were being presented to you and how the translator moved those into that language that you know better than English, perhaps. Right? But that's not all. Perhaps sometimes, I do this as well, I'm guilty of this. I might speak a little too fast. I'm excited about a lot of the things I teach. I'm passionate about like technology and things like that. So I might speak a little fast. It's one of the reasons why I have this kind of closed captioning. So you can read a little bit as I go along, if you perhaps missed something that I say. But in these TED videos, you can actually change the speed from which they talk, so you can get something at a speed which you can understand a little bit better. Let me show you what I mean. Right, so I'm going to come back down here to this gear icon again, and then there's a speed. So I'm going to play this once again.
as we assume. Or better,
Turn on those
how do you
subtitles.
explain
gonna
when
turn them
others
down
are
to
able to achieve
0.5
things
speed.
that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so
I do
innovative?
this sometimes. I don't have a lot of time, but I want to see all of the TED Talk. I even speed it
more
up
innovative than all
double.
their competition. And yet they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different? Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and he certainly
So, speed it up, slow it down to something that you feel comfortable with. Turn the subtitles on in your native language or in the language you want to study a little bit more. Read it as you watch it, or turn it off sometimes. Play with that concept a little bit and see how much better you can start to pull out new words, new concepts, new ideas as you play with just these two items when you watch TED Talks. All right? All right, next is the transcript. The transcript. I'm going to turn those English subtitles back into English. Look at all these different languages you can put on. You turn that back to English. Close that. Now, not only is it translated, but you can read the transcript. So what I've got down here is what the whole thing, word for word. So you can read what he's saying in this TED Talk and follow along. And if there's a part that you want to hear again, this is interactive. So when you click on these sentences, the video will jump back to that part in time, and you can learn or hear again what he's saying. So there's a couple in here. Let's see here. There's a famous saying. He says it a lot. Let me try and find it here. Yeah. People don't buy what you do. People buy why you buy it. Is a phrase he says again
to us
and again.
is that
and
people
again.
don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why
So,
every
I
single
wanna-
needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe.
I have this practically memorized. I've seen it so much. All right. That's not it. Not only can you read this in English and follow along and kind of skip back and forth to the parts that you want to hear again, or maybe you didn't, maybe want to hear the pronunciation of words and things like that, how it's pronounced or how the cadence of the sentence follows along. There's a lot of things to learn with that. You can just find different topics within a TED Talk and just listen to that particular thing. But you can actually go in here and look at it in different languages as well. So let's say you want to see how something was translated into English from Japanese, or you want to see that one talk, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. How do they translate that? I think that's here.
It was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes.
Right? So far we've got a bunch of tools that you can grasp onto if you're using this as a language learning tool. Again, this doesn't have to be even language learning. It's just, I think there's like 80,000 different talks on TED.com or on YouTube as well. Most of them are translating different things. You can learn about anything that you want to learn, and you can learn it from the experts in the world about that thing. It's amazing. And next thing, of course, you can learn about the speaker, when it was done. There's a book actually for this particular TED Talk that it links to that you can actually buy and really dig into this concept that he's talking about. I really recommend that. And if you want to read further, there's a bunch of many of these TED Talks have further reading or suggested reading on this. So if you want to then become an expert also on the subject that the TED Talk is about, TED gives you the tools to start going in that direction, right? The videos are very short. You're not going to become an expert, but you're going to get the most essential, important information about that topic or that thing in this TED Talk. That's why it's so great. It doesn't go deep, it goes shallow, but it doesn't take a lot of time, and it's super easy to understand. And of course, there's linked videos to other TED Talks in here as well. All right. How about you guys? Have you ever watched a TED Talk? What's your favorite TED Talk? Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments, and we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll show a little bit in future sessions. What's your favorite TED video? All right. Also, today's topic, I'm going to move on to the next tool here in just a second. But we're talking about internet tools to help you study, to help you learn. What's your favorite thing that helps you learn? Maybe it's an app, maybe it's a website. You can put it in the chat. All right. There's a couple of you that are here, maybe from my classes at Kyoto University Studies. There may be some students here studying courses at togetherlearning.com. I always want to check in with you guys during these lunch chat sessions because you might have a question or concern or a comment about what you're studying in those courses. As a creator of those courses, I want to hear from you often and early about what you're doing, how you're learning, how the stuff is going from you. I need to hear from you so I can improve the course, but to help you understand those things from what you're learning in those courses as well. So if you have any questions about some of the courses that you're taking at togetherlearning.com, I believe some of you might be coming in from immersive tourism workshop or maybe game-based tourism, or some of you might be doing one of the projects, or there could be a few of you here from New Media Lab as well. If you have any questions about any of those topics in those courses, this is also a good place for you to bring those up. All right, I just want to put that out there because these lunch chat sessions are also to support you as well. All right, let's move on to our next tool for online learning, and that is online portfolios. If you've taken any classes with me, you know that this is a huge tool that I force you to make. I force you to use because I think it is so very important. There's a couple of reasons, and if you want to know the reasons why it's great to make an online portfolio and why you should make it, and some tools to make it, I've already created this tutorial video. I just put into the chat down below. Oops, come on now. There it goes. I want to show you that video from the website, from my YouTube video anyway. Right, here it is. Right, it's called Online Portfolios. Why make a student online portfolio? If you're not convinced why you should make an online portfolio, please go watch that video in the link description. I go into detail about the benefits of doing an online portfolio. But let me just first tell you a little story about me. I was one of the first to make an online portfolio and a website instead of a resume in my class. This was right when the internet was getting going in the 90s, 1990s. And it helped me get my first job, the person at Microsoft. So I was trying to get a job, and a lot of people are making resumes and printing them out on paper and handing them in. I put as little information as possible, and I put a QR code. Could you imagine putting a QR code on a resume 30 years ago, and submitting that to a company? They actually went to the website, and I got to control the way they saw information about me in a much different way, a much deeper medium, right? So creating an online portfolio to get a job is a great thing, but deeper than that, making this online portfolio showed the skills that let me grow my skills further, because I was reflecting on all the stuff I was doing in my life, where I was working, the skills I was gaining at my work, the projects I was doing, the presentations I was giving. And because I was taking the extra time to archive that information in my student portfolio, I got to learn a little bit more about it. And I got to learn what activities in my life were most useful to me, especially in my career. And I knew next time I had a choice to do job A or job B, or participate in this event, or go do some volunteer work here, that reflection, that extra time I spent creating an online portfolio was immeasurable in helping me make those future decisions. So that's one of the reasons that I ask all my students to think hard, and I try to give you the tools to make your own online portfolio, so you can archive all the things that you're doing and start the process of something called lifelong learning. You're going to learn not just in university or when you take a course online, perhaps with us at Together Learning. You're going to learn through your whole life, and you learn from yourself. You learn from your failures and what you do. And making an online portfolio, archiving all the things that you do in your life, helps you learn from yourself a little bit more. And that is super essential in your growing even after you leave university. So that's one of the reasons why I ask you to make an online portfolio. Right? And the tool that we use for that, in my situation a lot, that I recommend using, is something called Google Sites. And there's a couple of kind of examples you can see behind me here of students sharing their Google Sites with me. It is super, super simple and easy. If you guys want to see a kind of step-by-step tutorial on that, that's also on the YouTube channel and on our website. Using Google Sites is free, it's easy, and you can start archiving your information, your websites, your artwork, perhaps, your photography, your presentations. Anything that you do that's unique and special is unique and special, and you need to cherish that and put that somewhere for safekeeping. And an online portfolio will help you do that. Even if you don't share it out to other people, I really recommend trying to put that all somewhere so you can reflect on it and find it later, right? You won't be, I still don't remember all the books I read or all the presentations I've done. I've done so many, hundreds, thousands, but a website helps me do that. And that's evolved into my own website, erichawkinson.com. You can see I've kind of leveled up my game over the years, trying to kind of peel down to the story of me and what's my passion, what I'm good at. And so somebody can come and hear about me and maybe see a lecture I do, or do a presentation, or watch a YouTube video. And they can come to see kind of an archive of all my things. Like, this is my core passion. I have a blog that you can look at some of my projects. some of my accomplishments, my passion projects, right? I call them things that I really enjoy creating and working on. Like, so you can see some of the examples of the work I do, the things I create, the websites I've made. Um, I'm a passionate person of immersive learning, so that you can even visit in virtual reality my website. My academic research is listed here. All the links to my public talks, like at Tedx or South by Southwest, etc., etc., and some of maybe the games I've made and the books I've written and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff that you put on there, but I put the highlights. And over time, I've gotten a little bit better at telling the essence of the story of me. And that's what a portfolio is. You're just sharing things that you want to share. And that's also a good thing about making a portfolio. You learn to share the things that you're passionate about. And that's going to really, that activity alone is going to help you in your life and your career, I think. So hopefully I'm convincing you, talking about this, that the importance of creating an online portfolio. So that's just my own example. So let's go back to the Google Sites for a second here. And I'm just going to create a quick website and show you how I'm going to create one in 3 minutes, maybe even 2 minutes, a portfolio. So I've gone here, sites.google.com/new. There's an old version that went out of service, I think 3 or 4 years ago now. Now there's a new version of Google Sites. You can create them. Just come to sites.google.com. You'll need to log in with your Google account. A lot of you have Gmail, so you already have your Google account. Important thing to note with these, you can't really make websites on your phone. So if you want to make a website on your phone, it's just not a good way to do it. It's possible, and there's a workaround for it, but you have to type a lot. You have to resize windows precisely. The interface of touching a touch screen, like on a smart device, really just isn't suited for creating websites. It's good for consuming websites. You can scroll websites, click on links and things like that, but actually creating websites, I do not recommend using your phone. You'll need a PC or a Mac or something like that. Or at very least, get a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse or something for your iPad or something. Okay, so if you log in with your PC, you can go to blank. I'm going to create a new there's actually a template here for portfolio. I'm going to go back. I'm going to use that one. That's kind of new. I've never tried that one. I just made a blank one. I won't do that one. All right. These are some templates already pre-made for you, and you can just click on portfolio. So it's going to actually kind of create a kind of sample portfolio website for me as I click on this. Right. So we have home, about, and page. So this is your navigation bar. It shows you how to go between pages in your website. A website is a collection of pages. You can divide that up how you want, and that menu is right up top here. Right? And right away, you have some things and items that you can add. So you can put your name in here. I'm Pikachu. I'm a Pokemon. Where's Pikachu from? From Nintendo. Right? I want to change this picture. I'm going to come here and replace image, select image. I'm going to search, Google image search for Pikachu. See how fast I'm doing this? This guy looks interesting. Insert. Boom. See how fast that is? Now you might have to upload pictures and take pictures for yourself, but this is connected to your Google Drive, so if you have Google Photos or something that you've already uploaded, you can already add that stuff as well. Right? Now you can start adding things like presentations, selected works. You can add pages. So there's 3 main tabs here that you want to look at. Insert, to add things to the web pages. Pages, to manage all the pages in your website. So you can create a page just for your photography, or just for your essays, or just for your presentations, or your maybe a project that you're doing, etc., etc. And you can nest those. Nesting means you can have pages grouped under other pages, grouped under other pages infinitely. So you can put as many pages as you want and organize it hierarchically, however you want. And you can change the color and the theme as well. I'm just going to quick change that to show you what that looks like. Change that to diplomat. Let's change the color to purple. Right, go back to insert. Right, change the font and the colors, and voila. Now, there's a couple things about this that you might want to know. Publishing a website requires you to put your information from yourself onto a server somewhere on the internet so people can access it anytime, from anywhere. So when you make a portfolio, when you make a website, you'll need to put it on a server somewhere. And Google makes that really easy for you by this button up here called Publish. And so every time you make a portfolio, there's some other options I'm going to show you in just a minute here. If you don't want to use Google Sites, you want to use something that looks a little bit better, make it look like my own portfolio. You have to publish it. And this goes for any portfolio website that you use. So every time you add something, change a picture, move things around, you have to republish it again. It's like saving it, kind of, but saving it on the internet. And you'll have to republish that as well. And when you publish it, you have to choose a URL, unique resource locator, which just basically means the link. And you got to think really hard about the link to your portfolio. You want to make it simple. You want to make it easy so you can say it to someone. In Japan, I often see the error, the trouble of people putting hyphens and underbars in Japanese, that's what they're called, in their URLs. So it becomes hard to tell somebody. If you're just going to say to go, if you want to learn more, go to, in my case, ericHawkinson.com or togetherlearning.com. It's very easy. You don't really need to know the spelling, and you're there. You found it. But a lot of Japanese websites are like something/something underbar 32 or something like that. They're complicated usernames. So try to choose a URL that's easy to remember, because you want somebody to visit your portfolio. You want your future employer or whatever to go to it and be able to find it. So that's going to be. And there's other unique techniques like search engine optimization and designing the website to be easy to use and the user flow. All that is on a course that I teach, actually. It's called, where can I show you that? Interactive Web Publishing. And it's available on togetherlearning.com, and it's also available to students at our university. All right, so that's Google Sites. I made one really quick with Google Sites. I'm not going to save this one. I'm going to probably delete it, so I don't want to clutter my... But there are some other ones that you might want to consider too. One popular one is Wix. It's very popular in Japan, actually. There's a free version that will put ads on it, Wix.com. You can make websites that look very professional without knowledge of coding. Let's see what the pricing is, actually. I think there's a free one. 2,500 yen a month for a VIP, unlimited. But you can connect your domain. If you want your own 99.com, something.com, that's only 500 yen a month. That, in my mind, is worth it. But you can get a free one as well, and they'll give you something at Wix.com or something like that. Another one that I recommend is called Squarespace. One of the world's most popular website design sites. And again, it's very similar to Wix. You don't have to know any coding, but it's a little more difficult to use than Google Sites. Google Sites is super easy, super simple. So that's why I recommend to students how to get started, because you need to learn how to organize your information, what to put on it, and you need to have things to put on it before you go out and spend a lot of time designing a really cool site. Unless you want to. A lot of people like me, I like to just create cool looking stuff. So you might want to go and try some of those as well. Squarespace, Wix, I have a whole list of other ones. I think I have maybe a list of 20 or 30 different ones. You can find that in our interactive web publishing course. All right, that's tool number 2. We're already starting to get towards the end, so we're going to have to pick and choose some of these tools. What kind of tools did you guys want to hear about? What kind of tools do you guys like learning about? What kind of tools have you used to study and learn? An app, a website, a tool, a platform? That's today's chat. And if you have anything to add to it, please put it in. Okay, well, got about 10 minutes left. I'm going to just show you maybe one, maybe two more. This next one, or these next couple, are part of the course, one of course I'm teaching called the My Hometown Project. And in this project, students are learning how to create hometown tours in virtual reality. And you need to be able to make a lot of media to be able to make a virtual reality tour. You need to be able to make audio narrations and 3D models maybe, or 360 photographs. You need to be able to maybe record video to add into it. It's kind of very high level media creation. And so in this course, we spend a little bit of time teaching you some of the basics of creating those supporting media. So recording your voice for audio track, and taking 360-degree photos off the web from something like Google Street View, or learning how to put it all together in a virtual tour. And so one tool that's very useful in this list on stage 6 of the My Hometown Project is a tool that I use quite often if I'm in a pinch and I need to just record my voice for something to send it to somebody, is the free online voice recorder. onlinevoicerecorder.com, and this is a super simple, super to use free website to record your voice, and it works great on your phone, on your tablet, or your PC. So you can use this in a bunch of different ways. All it is, you come to this website and there's a record button. It's so easy, isn't it? So you come to the website and you just hit record, and it will record your voice. You might have to give your browser permissions to use your microphone, but I've already done that. So why would you do this? Well, let's say you're making a presentation for class, or you're creating a video, and you don't want to show your face like I'm doing now. You just want to add your voice over some PowerPoint slides, Google Slides. You want to show some video and talk over it, or you just want to add a narration to something like a virtual tour. So recording your voice for other purposes to add into video and 3D tours and virtual tours and things like that is very simple. And this website is probably the most easiest way to do it. So all I have to do is come to the website and hit record. I'm going to hit record right now. Hey, I'm trying this free online voice recorder at onlinevoicerecorder.com. I use it for a bunch of different stuff all the time for my media projects if I want to create an audio file of my voice from scratch very quickly. right? Boom. And then it shows me, you can see here the beginning and end. This is a timeline. If you were with us last week in talking about video editing, you'll recognize this. That's 0 and then the 18-second mark over here on this end. So you can cut and kind of shape this down. You can trim it. I'm going to trim this a little bit on either side. Right, just trim it in so because of this, there's a little bit of silence before and after. Let me play it.
Scratch very quickly.
From the top.
Hey, I'm trying this free online voice recorder at onlinevoicerecorder.com. I use it for a bunch of different stuff all the time for my media projects if I want to create an audio file.
Right. Now, this isn't super powerful. Like, I feel like that's a little bit of, the voice is a little bit soft. It's a little bit low. So if I were using a different piece of software, I might increase the volume of my voice in relation to the volume that you have in your online player. I might try to smooth it out or something. I might do some, audio engineering to that. If you want to learn about audio engineering, we talk about that also in New Media. But that looks fine. I'll just save it. Boom, hit the save button. You don't have to log in. It just goes directly. You don't see this screen, but it just pops up. Where do you want to save it? You save it as an MP3, and then just save that on your device or your PC or your Mac, and then you could upload that to your PowerPoint presentation, perhaps, or add it to a Google slide. If you want to learn how to do any of that stuff, we learn about it in a couple of classes that I teach on togetherlearning.com as well. Right? All right. That was one quick one. The online chat recording tool, voice recording tool. Super cool way to just record your voice. Super simple. If you want to record voice and do it a little bit more professional, I recommend this open source free tool. It's called Audacity. Audacityteam.org. It's free open source cross-platform audio software. So if you want to record your voice and then be able to cut out and edit it with software for free, this is probably one of the most popular tools out there. And you don't have to pay anything for it. Just download it to your device. I think it might be PC only. I don't remember this being available on the Mac. Oh, Mac OS and Linux. Yeah, it's available for all that stuff. I use Adobe products, and so it costs a little bit of money. So if you want to be able to do that. All right. Well, there's just about a couple minutes left. I'm going to show another one. And this is talking about Google Street View. Google Street View is an awesome tool. You can travel the world. You can go into virtual reality using it. But sometimes you want to use some of the stuff you see in Street View for your projects. So this is just a random place. Boy, I love opening this up because you get sent to these random places in the world and you learn a little bit more about the Earth. Where did we just end up? In the outskirts of Brazil, just outside of Campo Mourão in Brazil. Very cool. I just love that. Right? And what this tool does is it allows you to kind of explore the world randomly and helps you take out these 360 photos to use in your virtual tours or maybe even in your other kind of virtual reality, augmented reality media that you can help create. What it does here is gives you a panorama ID, and then you download some software. Then you can download that asset, that Google Street View, and use it in different things. But you can also use this to explore kind of unique places around the world as well. I find it a very cool way to actually just to use Google Street View and explore the Earth. If you have one of these devices, I often use something called Google Earth VR and just kind of travel around. When I get homesick, I go back to my old neighborhood in virtual reality and get nostalgic. Right? So we just popped open to a place here. Looks like it's in front of a historic church. I think this is Sicily, in Italy. Very cool. I would love to visit her someday. Right? We're just about out of time, but if you want to learn how to do 360 virtual tours, all the steps are in stage 6 of our My Hometown project on our Together Learning website. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me and we can get you into that course. All right. What do you guys think? Did I get all your questions answered? Did you guys get a lot out of the second lunch chat session today? There's a couple of tools that we talked about. We talked about TEDx, Tedx Kyoto, how to use TED.com to learn about a whole bunch of crazy stuff like art, history, science, technology, performance, and actually use the website in a more advanced way to help you study language, study English from another language, in specifically. And so you can find links for that in the chat, in the description. Below the description. We talked about online portfolios today, but mainly we talked about why online portfolios is so important. And I tried to convince you with a couple of reasons why you should be spending some time creating and archiving and updating your online portfolio. It's when you go to write your resume, if you have an online portfolio, I'm just reasons and reasons, tons of reasons to do your online portfolio. I don't need to keep giving you them, right? And the last couple of quick ones, I showed you how to record your voice and how to use Google Street View to get assets for your virtual and augmented reality projects. As always, if you want to learn more about those projects, how do we work them, you can find hundreds of videos on my YouTube channels, or you can come to togetherlearning.com and try and take some of these courses. My name is Eric, your Together Learning curator, and I'm happy to be with you during these lunch. We're going to come here back again next week on Thursday, same time, same place. I haven't quite decided the topic for next week yet, but if you have an idea, happy to hear about it. We have our Discord server, we have our website, we have our YouTube channel. I'm going to put those as the last link in the chat below before I finalize the session for today's lunch. So come by and chat with us on our Discord server or to the website, or send me a message directly, and we'll learn from each other. We'll learn together. As always, I'm just going to leave the chat function up just for a minute or so before I close the stream, just to make sure that everyone can get their last minute questions in, their last minute chats in before I shut down the stream. All right. We'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye now.